Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. We're streaming live simultaneously in 3 different locations. The Heavy on Jets Facebook page to all you crazy New York Jet fans out there. We've got a lot to discuss. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, and of course on the Twitter sphere at BoyGreen25 as well, because branding, baby. That's damn right. We got a lot to talk about with the bombshell QB news here on the show, and it's a healthy reminder, whether you're new to the channel or old to the channel, here are the rules. This is an engaging show. If you'd like to hear your comments, questions, or anything answered, dive into the comments section, whether it's on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, or even on Twitter as well, and we'll bring your comments up here on the show. This is going to be a healthy conversation. I've been wanting to get this off my chest all day since I was on the radio live earlier when I heard the news and my jaw was just on the floor with this Mike White business. We'll dive into that. We'll dive into Zach Wilson's opportunity. We'll give you a little Lions preview, answer some questions, and I'm going to kind of do a dramatic reading of some of the tweets I got when I said something earlier today on social media. However, let's start at the beginning. The big news is this. Mike White, who hurt his ribs in the Buffalo Bills game, he took several vicious shots. 2 in particular knocked him out of the game, both from Ed Oliver, the former first-rounder, and, of course, Matt Milano, the Jet fan that he grew up to be, but a current Buffalo Bills linebacker. They absolutely battered, beaten, and bruised him. He was knocked out of the game initially, had to gather his breath back, and then in the second contest, or the second hit that he took, he had to be taken back to the locker room, had x-rays and everything else, and they looked good. Nothing was shown on the x-rays that indicated that anything was going on there, so he was cleared to return back to the game. Apparently, upon further testing, the medical check when he went to the hospital before jumping on the plane and subsequent testings revealed a fractured ribs for Mike White. And sometimes that won't be, made available on the initial x-ray, especially since I heard from Rich Media earlier today that the Buffalo Stadium normally has a terrible reputation for their x-ray machine, apparently. That from Rich Media of ESPN. But that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is this. Mike White is out. He's out. Like there is no question about it. He is out. He's already been ruled out, which means Zach Wilson is once again the starting quarterback for your New York Jets. Joe Flacco will be the backup. And I'm just going to go all the way out and say it right now, that with minimal rest, because we have the Jets playing on Sunday against the Lions and then Thursday for their only primetime game on the schedule, I will say I think they're getting flexed for a few more later in the season. More on that later. But playing on Thursday Night Football, that will also be Zach Wilson. I know the coach didn't say it directly, but he said it would be, quote, tough on a short week. And also just in general, Zach Wilson will be the starter for the first game on Sunday against the Lions, and he will be the starter on Thursday Night Football. Both of those games at home, and both critically important. I mean, absolute must-wins. And I want to say this genuinely, legitimately, and we will get to some of your comments throughout the show. I'm seeing you guys pop in here. Appreciate it wherever you're watching. Also, make sure you like the video. Hit subscribe down below for more fantastic New York Jets content. I'm going to say this. I legitimately am excited for Zach Wilson. Now, before I dive into all that, I want to say it sucks for Mike White. He's a tough SOB. The Jets doctors wouldn't clear him. Of course, any NFL player is allowed to seek additional medical opinion to try to get some other doctor to clear him, and he could find no one to do so, which just speaks to the seriousness of Mike White's injury. Rich Cimini says he does not believe he's out for the season, but there's no way he plays basically in the next 2 games. So his earliest opportunity is at Seattle in 2 weeks. But I'll tell you this, if Zach Wilson performs well, Mike White's done. The dream is over for old Mike White. The Jets have maintained throughout the season that their goal, their intent was to get Zach Wilson back on the football field at some point. And now he's here. And these are 2 critical home games. If he looks good and this Jets team wins, oh man, see you, Mike White. Whoop, peace. The dream's over, because there's no way if Zach Wilson wins these 2 games and Mike White's healthy for the Seattle game that they would then turn the keys to the franchise away from the number 2 overall pick to Mike White. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. So, man, there is an immense amount of pressure on Zach Wilson to perform versus Detroit and perform against Jacksonville, and it's going to be a crazy home crowd that's going to be there because this is playoff football. Technically, the playoffs haven't started yet, but this is playoff football. This is do or die. The Jets need these 2 games to put themselves in position. Or let me put it this way. If you are serious about the playoffs, then you got to win those 2 games against teams that are both below 500. However, let me go back to my point, and I'll get into a lot of your comments. I want to have a full-length conversation on this with all you fans. Me, personally, I am legitimately excited for Zach Wilson. I first thought about Mike White, and I went, man, this is amazing for Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick. This kid is going to get his shot at redemption. The last time we saw him, horrible circumstances. The Jets lose on a last-second punt return. I was at a local bar when I was watching that game, and it was crushing to lose in that way to that New England Patriots team, which every time I see them, I'm like, how the hell did the Jets lose to this team once, let alone once, twice? I mean, come on, man. So I remember that. And of course, if his play wasn't bad enough, the post-game commentary where he came out and said, it wasn't really my fault. Like, that obviously looked terrible. And the young man was thrown essentially to Guantanamo Bay. He has been MIA for 3 weeks. 3 games, he was a healthy scratch. Wasn't a starter, wasn't a backup, was in some no man's land. And I will tell you, based on the conversations from Zach Wilson to the media since that benching, I will tell you this. To me, clearly, this humbled Zach Wilson. It humbled him. This is the golden boy, the number 2 overall pick, the franchise savior, the star at BYU. This was the guy everywhere he's ever been. And with the Jets, all of a sudden they're like, you're benched. And not only are you benched, you're QB3. I mean, Zach Wilson called it himself incredibly difficult, incredibly tough. And I have to tell you that it's just humbling that you go for franchise quarterback to 3rd string. I mean, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And you want to know what? I think Zach Wilson took it on the chin. He's handled it like a pro since. Obviously, he did not handle the PR stuff like a pro after the game. There's just no debating. There's no question about it. But I think he's improved in that category. Now, it's only going to matter if he steps up and plays well. And, man, I'm excited for him. And I will bring up a lot of Zach Wilson comments in here first before I get to my bit. Because I tweeted something out earlier today, and I was met with a lot of vitriol for my take. But before we get there, let's get a couple of these comments in. Braden NCL, Zachary going to need all the support we could give him for all 60 minutes. This could be his last game. Let's give him all we got, Jets fam. It won't be, again, unless he's injured. I think he is going to start the Lions game, the Jaguars game, just because of proximity and time. If Mike White's ribs weren't good enough for Sunday's game, 3 days later will not be enough for me for the Jaguars game. So this is Zach Wilson's op right here. So I do think he needs all our support. And I think Jet fans, and I will go into a few comments to show you what I've been dealing with on social media on the Zach Wilson thing. But whoever the starting quarterback is, whether you like him or not, you should earn the support. For me, I love Zach Wilson. Now, obviously, he hasn't played very well, and he had some crappy comments in the postgame. So, again, he has gotten everything he has deserved. However, I'm rooting for the kid. What a redemption story would that be? That he went from the lowest of lows to bench QB3 to potentially carrying this Jets team to the playoffs, might I add, after an 11-year drought. I mean, the story is there. It's up to Zach Wilson to see if he will seize it. So, yes, he does need our support. Let's see. Let's go to Kevin O.G. Allen on our Facebook page. First sign of trouble. I need Zach to sit down. We need to make a strong push going into the postseason. So we will see if he can. He will have that opportunity. Anthony G on our YouTube. Jet the F up, boys. Get well soon, Mike F. and White, and we're all behind Zach Wilson to come back strong. I want both to ball out and make each other better and make the decision hard for coach. 100%, that's exactly what you want. I will tell you there is no decision. If Zach Wilson is balling out in these 2 wins, there's no way you go away from him, especially since he was the number 2 overall pick. I think that is important to note as well. Let's go to Rachel here. Hey, Rachel. Wilson will explode. I think this will be his turning point, as do I. I think this is a great opportunity. This Lions defense stinks, and we're going to get a Lions insider on because I know we had a lot of Jet fans that contested some of that. But the Lions defense is bad by all the numbers I've looked at, and I know they've had some improvements over the last batch of weeks, but at the end of the day, you put lipstick on a pig is still a pig. I mean, again, they are bottom 5 in every major defensive category: points per game, yards per game, passing yards per game, and rushing yards allowed per game. If Zach Wilson is going to come out, this would be the game to do so. We talked about this weeks ago when talking about when Zach Wilson could potentially come back. We, of course, didn't know it because of injury, but everyone's story is different. Robert S. I can't believe that Joe Flacid is going to be the backup. Yeah, I mean, they really don't have a choice unless they're going to promote Strevler. And what would that say about Flacco? Again, how we feel as fans compared to the team. Like, what would it say about Flacco if they leapfrogged Chris Strevler into that role? So Joe Flacco will be the backup. Maybe that changes at some point. Vinny and the Jets. Jets ownership screwed Mike White with this crap. I promise you, Woody made the call on this one. No, I don't think so. I think Mike White was not healthy enough to play, and he's not going to play. But no, I would not say this is an ownership thing. Woody has done a really good job of letting Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh cook, so to speak. He has not interfered or meddled with their stuff. Again, the Jets team doctors said no to Mike White. And then they said, hey, Mike, if you can find another doctor that says, hey, okay, let us know. And again, he visited 10 doctors and none of them said yes. I think that tells you pretty clearly that there's no extra stuff going on here that, quite frankly, just is what it is. He is hurt and he just needs to get well. Mr. Maji, Woody can see what we all see. Mike White gives the Jets the best chance to win. Well, now it doesn't matter. Now it's Zach Wilson's opportunity, so we have to see what he does with it. But Robert S. I will check fans. We got to root for whoever is playing. We're fans of the team, not the individual. And again, you guys will see that in a minute with a lot of the things that I have been dealing with today on these factoids. AC, looks like Corey Davis is out. It's not might. He has already been ruled out. The Jets just had their injury report. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone real quick to give you guys the latest. I know it just got sent out to me, so 1 second of the injury report. Corey Davis has already been ruled out, and there's a few others as well. Quinnen Williams is technically still up in the air. Yep, here's the injury report. Yep, today's the 16th. All right, here we go. Corey Davis has already been. Thank you for the Jet sweepstakes. Corey Davis has already been ruled out with a concussion. Brandon Eccles out with a quad. He could be out for the season. Mike White out with ribs. Quinnen Williams is questionable with the calf. Everyone else looks good to go. Dwayne Brown, George Fant, John Franklin Myers, and Michael Clemens making his return. So yes, Corey Davis is out. So that's tough. Let's go to a YouTube super chat. Always appreciate these. A different color. We give you, of course, a special shout out here on the show. I bet on Jets Super Bowl. Go Zach, baby. Hell yeah. I love it. And they can make a run. This team is deep, talented, and we've seen all the other injuries that they've been able to overcome all season long, Daniel. So, yeah, we'll see. Not everyone knows when the Super Bowl year is going to come, so maybe this is it. It would be an incredible story if that is it. Let's go back to Kevin here. He not only has to play well, he has to rebuild that relationship between himself and the team. Winning does cure all ails, Kelvin, I will say for sure. But I think you're right that there has to be, out of his way after press conferences saying, and not being fake, you have to be genuine, of course, about taking responsibility and really doing everything for his team. Yeah, that's going to be an important pivot. There's no question. Kelvin, Jets defense win this season. They've been lights out all year. I'm pulling for Zach. I know this defense will do what it needs to do. Again, the Lions offense has been very potent. There's no question about it. But they're a dome team playing outside, and Jared Goff's numbers when playing outside are not very good. I don't have them in front of me. I just saw them earlier on Twitter. But yeah, this offense is explosive, but this Jets defense is pretty good too. Robert S. It helped too. I believe Zach is going to be okay. This is going to show if he has gumption or not. No question about it. This is going to be the opportunity to say, okay, kid, what do you have? I mean, you were benched, and sometimes when you get benched, you can make a comeback. Tua had that Tua Fitzpatrick thing last year, and he came back and looked great. His numbers this year have been fantastic. I know they've been a little rough recently, but overall, his numbers been good. So sometimes that's exactly what you need to get you right back on track. Let's go to Bangus Garci. What's up, Boy Green? Can we play Strevler on third downs? New subscriber from Cali. Aloha, my friend. Aloha. And welcome from the West Coast. Appreciate it. Can we play Trevor on third downs, please? That would be cool. I don't think they would do it in terms of that level of specific nature. Maybe road zone packages, but in terms of straight up third down, I'm not sure. And with the Quinnen injury, I'm not really sure how the numbers are going to work. So I don't know if they can afford a third quarterback on the roster. It depends on roster flexibility. I would probably lean towards no, but I do like the cut of your jib, Bengus. I do. Let's go to Anarchal 66. Who cares who plays quarterback as long as we win? A must win. Defense needs to step up, O-line, running game, etc. 100%. They just need to find a way to win, whether it's by 1 point, 30 points, doesn't matter. They just need to find a way to win in what is absolutely a must-win game against a 6-7 Lions team. Again, you have a better record than them. You're at home, and the Vegas line has flipped back to the Jets. It was Jets 1 point favorite, Lions 1 point favorite. Pick 'em. Jets like 1.5. We'll see how the line flips, obviously, with the Zach Wilson news. I imagine more Lions love will be coming there. But yeah, just go win the game. Let's go to Robert on Facebook. Hopefully learn some lessons. 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Go Jets forever. Playoffs, playoffs, playoffs. I love that. Joe Campione, not being able to evaluate White is a disaster. A slight improvement from Zach throws this team 3 years behind. I'm not sure if I'm willing to go that far, but not being able to evaluate White, again, as Rich Samini said on his Instagram Live earlier, he had his opportunity. Let's see what Zach Wilson does with his opportunity. Mike White is a pending free agent. Zach Wilson's number 2 overall pick. If he balls out, that's great because now you know what your future is. So I think as well. I want to bring this up here on the show, guys, because earlier today, I told you guys I'm not blowing smoke up your skirt. I tweeted out this earlier, and I mean this, shortly after the Zach Wilson news came through. Quote, I'm not going to lie. I'm super excited to see Zach Wilson return to the football field this week for the Jets. The experience has obviously humbled him. He said all the right things to the presser. Now it's time to deliver on the field in a must-win game. I added a little bit of additional context in the thread. Now he has a chance to totally redeem himself, of course, regain the love from the fans and his teammates. I didn't get to fit teammates in there. Twitter has limited characters. And deliver in a must-win game. And I have to tell you that one of the things that is off-putting to me, and I'm a Jets fan, right, that's doing all this, is some of the responses from other Jet fans. It's like you guys are rooting for Zach Wilson to suck. Now, I'm all fine with criticism, right? Like Zach Wilson has not played well this year for the most part. Like there's been, pieces like the Pittsburgh game and all that kind of stuff. But overall, he's not played well. So I'm not hiding behind that. That is true. He's not played well and then the crappy answers, obviously. But some of the rooting, like we should all be rooting for Zach Wilson to have like the game of his life. But some of these comments, I just want to highlight and look through with you guys to see some of the stuff that we're going with here. That is just off-putting on some of this. Like here's the Jets Way at Jets Way podcast. He is awful. Even if they win, they need to stick with Mike White. The Jets Way. He is awful. Elon Samaza. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous. Let's see what Vegas thinks. Zach sucks from Bozzy Iverson. I'm not excited to see him play at all, but we're going to win regardless. Like some of this, just like he sucks and this. And I'm seeing a couple of people, QB1, let's go, like supporting the quarterback. And the reel of his NFL journeys on the line. Again, we can talk about that. There's an immense amount of pressure on. But Marino 4K fans are super worried now. Let's see how excited you are after the game. He's going to stink. The football. Let's see. What else? I saw a lot of bad stuff here, so let me see if I can get it here. Again, these are the comments I want to see from like Vinny N. Maybe this is storybook. Maybe he sees this as opportunity. Life is strange. Sees the opportunity. Zach, 100%. Who cares how Zach got this opportunity? Just take full advantage of it. Like this. He's going to throw for hardly over 100 yards, do next to nothing like he always does. Mike White had better throws while hurt after nearly getting cut in half twice last week than Zach had in his entire career. If you're a real Jets fan, you can't seriously be excited about this. Someone has a giant man crush on Zach, LOL. Well, that's one person besides Zach who is excited. Like, man, people look at, and there's hundreds of these comments. Just keep going down. I mean, there's just hundreds of comments saying like Zach sucks. You're the worst. Oh, there's the absolute worst. Stop it. Stop being excited. Get some help. Like people, like for Pete's sake, why can't we be excited about Zach Wilson? Why can't we rev the engine? And how hard is that? Has there been some trying moments this season? Of course. But he was the number 2 overall pick. You're just ready to throw him aside and throw him in the yesterday's garbage? Like, Come on, man. It's Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick, the golden boy, the Patrick Mahomes coming out of college. Like, we had all this love and hype and everything. And I truly believe this, that Jet fans are carrying the baggage of past years and they're just dumping it at the doorstep of this year's Jets. And let me explain. Sam Darnold's development didn't go great. Geno Smith and Mark Sanchez and all these other guys and their failed developments have given a lot of Jet fans baggage in their brain, because if Zach Wilson doesn't look like Patrick Mahomes, instantly they're like, well, another bust. Let's get him out of town. So he doesn't have the same honeymoon period that other Jets quarterbacks have had in the past. Not totally fair, I would say. And then also, it goes even beyond that. Like, with, oh boy, here the Jets are in this classic position of the season. They're totally good. Always do. Like, why does Robert Saleh carry that baggage? Why does Joe Douglas carry that baggage? Why do all these young bucks like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and I know he's injured, or Elijah Vera Tucker, I know he's injured, but all these young cats are coming in. Saleh's kind of like, who the hell are you? We don't know anything about those past Jets. We only know this current version. We believe. We drink the Kool-Aid. Like, we're buying in. Like, where is that from Jet fans, people? And I'm not calling all you out. I'm a Jet fan too, but I'm just like, can we be positive? Can we be optimistic? Can we buy in that this is a different version of Jets football than we've ever seen before? And some will say, hey, Paul, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm just waiting for it to all blow over like it always does. The Jets are not going to make the playoffs. They're going to just lose, and it's going to be this. Like, criticism straight up is fair on Zach Wilson. It's fair. If you want to criticize him because he has not played well, that's fair and fine, and I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, though, is that the outright rooting for him to suck. He blows, so this team's not going to make the playoffs now, and all this other crap. Yeah, I just showed you a bunch of the comments I've been getting on Twitter just today alone, and it's been long-standing this season. Like, let's support the quarterback. Like, let's support him. Let's rally around him. Let's believe that he can turn this around. Now, there has to be a realistic nature here that, man, can Zach Wilson fix some of the issues? Because he was benched not only for his comments, but he was also benched because of simple misses, because his footwork wasn't aligned, and this or that, and he missed guys. Now, again, there's going to be an unbelievable amount of pressure on Zach, because on that first incompletion or first this or first that, all of a sudden the fans are absolutely going to lose their crap. And I feel bad, and hopefully Zach Wilson can get past it. I think he had a great answer today when saying, hey, do you feel like you got to look over your shoulder in these games when Mike White gets back? And Zach Wilson said, I'm already past the worst of it. Now I'm just going to go have fun and play football. And the jovialness, the personality, it just seems like a lot of pressure's off Zach Wilson's shoulders. And he mentioned this in an earlier press conference when he didn't even know he was going to play. He said, there was just kind of a lot of pent-up frustration. Like, I'm not playing well, and those games are stacking on top of each other, and then I'm answering tough media questions, like a lot of pressure, and then Robert Saleh pops the balloon, and initially Zach Wilson's pissed because he doesn't want to get off the field, but he pops the balloon and removes all the weight from his shoulders and gives it to Mike White and other quarterbacks that are stepping in, and Zach Wilson just has a genuine opportunity to just stare into the abyss and just take a moment to breathe, because you can never do that in an NFL season. But as QB3, when you're just doing scout team, Zach Wilson just got a chance to and just kind of humble himself, obviously, with the news of being benched, but just kind of sit there, take it all in, take it all together, and say, you know what? I'm more talented than this. I can play better than this. Like, I just got to go play. There was a reason I was the number 2 overall pick. And by the way, some of the Monday morning quarterback hindsight, clearly the Jets overdrafted Zach Wilson. I'm just going to come out. That's a stupid thing to say. That's a stupid thing to say. The 49ers, who had the 3rd overall pick, were freaking drooling over they wish they had Zach Wilson. So the Monday morning quarterback in the 2020 hindsight of knowing the future, of saying Zach Wilson was clearly overdrafted and the Jets blew it, like, screw you people. That's a stupid thing to say. I just have to make that perfectly clear. That's just dumb. If the Jets, 49ers, or gosh knows whoever team that needed a quarterback was there at 2, they were taking Zach Wilson. He was the second best quarterback in that draft. So just stop it. Okay, the Justin Fields this, and the Trey Lance this, and the this and the that. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Zach Wilson was QB2 for every gosh darn team in the league. Justin Fields didn't go third. He didn't go fourth. So, okay, are the Jets the only quote-unquote clown team that passed on Justin Fields? Where did he end up going? Like 10, 11, something like that? Well, not 10. What was it? Well, let me just pull up Justin Fields real quick. Old Justin Fields. We go 10, 11 or something? What did he go? Let me pull up Justin Fields. I think I remember 10 off the top of my head, but what do you got? He went 11th. So, okay, so all the noise about gosh darn Justin Fields, he went friggin' 11th, okay? Zach Wilson went 2. So there was a reason he was the number 2 overall pick. People believed in Zach Wilson. People believed in the talent, the hype, and all that crap. And I still believe in the talent. Now, if that's naive, this or that, we will see. But I'm telling you, I just think sometimes that stuff's kind of frustrating. All right, let's dive back into some more comments. Whoa, we're getting a lot of stuff here. All right, let's see. Jets 8:30. If Purdy can do it with the same system and White can do it, Zach needs to do it 100%. Yeah, I think it's all there. I think it is mental because the physical talent is there. Of course, he could complete a 5-yard pass. Duh. Of course, Zach Wilson can. I mean, if he couldn't, he wouldn't be in the NFL. We can complete 5-yard passes, but it's mental. There's freaking monster 300-pound people running at you at 300 miles an hour. And you just got to just not think about it. Just do it. Just do what God-given talent is. So 100%. Purdy is showing it. He's a rookie. Let's go to JD Dow here. I really hope Q can play. Need to pressure Goff to win, and Q is a top 5 defensive player in the league this year, in my opinion, which, by the way, is crazy to hear out loud, but it's true. I don't believe he's going to play. I know he's questionable. He's been a quote-unquote 50-50 all week. Robert Saleh said today that a defensive lineman doesn't have to practice all week. It could still play with their system. I'm going to be honest. I'm leaning pessimistic. I'm leaning that he's not going to play. Maybe he will. Maybe surprises. Right now, I'm leaning no. And then I wonder what the Jets do, because like every game is a playoff game, so they're all important. So don't get me wrong. But do the Jets say, okay, we'll hold him out this one, but he'll be ready for Thursday night? Or do they say, man, if we hold him out for both, he'll be ready for the last 2? But I think the fact of the matter is this: the Jets can't think about Jacksonville. They can't think about Seattle. They can't think about Miami. They need to win every gosh darn game. Now, I don't think they really need to win all 4 to get to the playoffs, but that's got to be the mentality. This is a playoff game. So you got to just, if you got Quinn and he's ready to go, you got to play him. But my gut says he's not going to play. And then it'll be an interesting decision for Jacksonville, whether or not you choose to hold him out of that and have him fully rested for the final 2. But you also don't have that luxury. You need to just win by all means necessary. But I do think it is, obviously paramount to get pressure on Jared Goff. It will be difficult. The Lions have the best offensive line in all football, Robert Saleh says, 1A, 1B with the Philadelphia Eagles. So they have great protection. So you're going to have to get creative to get some pressure on him and make some things happen. Okay. Joe Campione, nobody is rooting for Wilson to fail. He has been absolutely horrible. I don't know, Joe. Go into Twitter. Go into my mentions. You may find some people. Again, he's been horrible, and I'm all fine with fair criticism of that. But there's been a lot of people that were not a fan of the pick at the time, and it's just bias of trying to shove it down people. So the coulda, woulda, shoulda people. Those are the people you hate in your life that said, "Oh, I told you so." Like the people that are Justin Fields believers, Trey Lance believers, or whoever are going to continue to root against Zach Wilson and say, hey, man, you should have taken that guy. And then this offseason, if the Jets go in a different direction, by the way, there's a strong chance they're adding somebody. Zach Wilson's the only quarterback under contract for next year. So you're adding somebody. Are they bringing Mike White back? That could be a conversation, which, by the way, everyone just foregone conclusion, assuming Mike White's back. There is a 0% chance that Mike White leaves. Does he? I don't know. He seems to love the team, but money, he's obviously proven that he deserves a contract. What does that contract look like? Like, I don't know. Everyone just assuming, like, I had an article today. We don't have to really waste a lot of time on this because it's about the playoffs. It's about now. But I wrote an article today because someone hinted at the Jets possibly trading for Ryan Tannehill this offseason. And so we bring that up and people go, well, Mike White's our guy. Well, Mike White's on under contract next year. So until that changes, you have to hope for the best, expect the worst, and prepare for every possibility of bringing some other guy in. Again, we don't really have to talk about that, but the point is that everyone's just assuming White's coming back. We have to see what happens there. Let's go to Robert S. My only worry is that Zach starts off slow and the Boo Birds start. Again, that could happen. And the problem is, though, it's not like Mike White's there. He is out for this game. So they're not booing and saying, put Flacco in. God, I hope not. So hopefully he starts fast. Hopefully, again, Mike LaFleur, when he's cooking, he's really good. But when he's not, he's really bad. And that may be a duh statement. But if he just cooks up some easy stuff for him, gets him into rhythm, that's what I think is key. Get easy completions, not crazy things you have to read, simple stuff. Boom, 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 boom. Get down the field, maybe score an opening drive touchdown, and Zach just goes, okay, we're good. Now let's go. Let's ball out, because Zach Wilson's talented, obviously. For sure. JD, again, I think it's fair for fans to feel not confident. The last time we saw Zach was one of the worst quarterback performances I've seen. Yeah, 77 yards passing. But I really want Zach to come back strong after this reset and earn the job. 100%. The job is his. It is hanging there on a silver platter. Zach also wants his job. Okay. He performs well in these 2 games, wins them. It's his job the rest of the way. There's no way in hell they go back to Mike White. Maybe, but to me, no way in hell. And then you have the playoffs all of a sudden in front of you. And Zach Wilson, of course, wins the hearts back of everybody. It's Zach Wilson's thing. For sure. But yeah, I'd love to see him earn the job back. That would be a phenomenal story. Gilbert Gonzalez, you're telling the truth. Some fans are just idiots. I guess so. MM Morris, we need to get into that end zone. No question about it. Over the last 2 weeks, 2 touchdowns. Now, you would say 2 touchdowns. Geez, the Jets must have been blown out in both those games. No, both of those games, they lost by a single score in both contests. So just imagine if you could somehow get in the end zone more, you're winning games. I mean, it's that simple. This Lions defense stinks, so if you can't score against this Lions defense, it's going to be very deflating. So, yeah, there's a big opportunity here, and they should score a lot of points for sure. Let's go to Anthony Kapala here. We will really see what Zach is made out of this week. That's for sure, Anthony. We're going to see. This is a prove-it time. And I normally don't play this kind of stuff on the show, but you know what? Let's play it. This was a clip from First Take earlier. I'm curious if you guys believe it in the same way. I know we're all Stephen A. Smith fans here, of course. Why wouldn't we be? And Stephen A. Smith had an interesting take on Zach Wilson and what all this means. Here's some First Take earlier today. This is Stephen A. Smith on the Zach Wilson situation.
Here's the deal, all right? Zach Wilson,
man,
he's in the lineup now.
The playoff hope.
This is possibly his career in a New York Jets uniform, if not the NFL on the line.
Yeah.
That's what this is. And let me tell you why. That's right. I know I'm looking silly, but I'm going to keep it on the end.
No, just stay focused. I'm going to stay focused.
That's right.
Commercial break.
Here's the deal, y'all. I know that the Detroit Lions have been balling. I love the job Dan Campbell has been doing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit Lions have the 2nd worst defense in the entire NFL.
Yes, they do.
In points allowed, yards allowed, the 3rd worst defense in passing yards allowed, and a bottom 5 defense against the run. If you Zach Wilson and you can't do something against them after getting called out, benched, losing your job, and then getting it back with another opportunity with playoff lives on the line, you can't show up this weekend. You done. If you can't, I'm not.
And that's the gist there from Stephen A. Smith again earlier today on First Take. And I'll just say this. I think a little bit of it is somewhat hyperbolic because Zach Wilson, no matter what, he's going to get a second chance. He's too talented. If the Jets moved on this offseason, someone would take a chance on him via trade in a Sam Darnold-esque trade. But the meat and potatoes of what Stephen A. Smith is saying is true. If Zach Wilson, okay, so Zach Wilson, right? So he plays he's injured early, obviously doesn't play the first couple of games. That's Joe Flacco. He comes in, he plays a bunch all the way through the New England game. He gets benched because obviously he was playing poorly, fundamentals and the things he said, right? So he's all out. So in theory, and with Mike White playing well, it looked like Zach Wilson wasn't going to get another chance this year until the offseason and compete with whoever he's going to compete with. So there was almost like this, man, I wonder if Zach Wilson could really fix all those issues. Now he's getting thrown back into the mix right now with a lot of pressure with 2 home games back-to-back, again, in must-win games. If Zach Wilson struggles in these 2 games and the Jets lose, even if they win, but let's just keep it black and white. If Zach Wilson performs poorly and they lose, the Jet fans may never be able to fully embrace Zach Wilson again and will force the Jets, especially if they get kicked out of the playoff mix somehow, some way, to look at alternative options this offseason, whether that's Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, whoever the hell it's going to be. So this is so important. Again, in some sense, Zach Wilson's life is on the line. His career is on the line against the Detroit Lions. It's a lot of pressure for a kid that's been cold turkey. He missed the last 3 games as a healthy scratch. But this is Zach Wilson's chance. He's gotten the majority of the reps all week. He's got a ton of talent around him. Some injuries, but so what? People deal with injuries. Zach Wilson against a terrible gosh darn defense. What do you have? This is a gauge of your intestinal fortitude, your manhood. How are you going to respond to the pressure of the situation? If he delivers, he's a hero. The Jets go to the playoffs, Zach Wilson's our guy, and everyone's back on the gosh darn bandwagon. If he's not, all hell breaks loose. It's just a monster. I mean, you can't understand. This is a monster opportunity for Zach Wilson to shut all the people up. He will. I don't care about, it's the Lions defense. I don't give a flying hoot. If Zach Wilson lights it up this weekend and can do that, and he's more than capable with the talent on this team to do exactly that against the Lions and just reclaim the headlines, reclaim the front pages, and he has the ability to do each and every one of that. It is a mental thing. It is a confidence thing. And it seems like, that's all we know until we see him on Sunday. It seems like he's gotten both of those things back. But we won't know until he's on the field, of course. But, and the other thing with this talent, and I'm going to use JD to kind of highlight this point, is Zach Wilson. You've got talent. You can't have what Robert Saleh called an inexcusable offense versus New England when you got Garrett Wilson, the new betting leader for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Do you want to know how many Offensive Rookie of the Years there's been in Jets history? Spoiler alert, 0. Not one single Jets Offensive Rookie has ever won that award. And Garrett Wilson right now is the favorite. And he's the favorite because he's been putting up video game numbers with anyone not named Zach Wilson. So it's up to Zach Wilson to get that Wilson to Wilson connection cooking. There's been a couple of pops in New England game, roll out, throw it to G-Dub. But he needs to just hike the ball and on-point ball accuracy and give Garrett Wilson a chance. So in his general vicinity, he's probably going to catch it. And Elijah Moore is cooking. He had 10 targets in the last game. You have talent, okay? We've criticized Jets quarterbacks in the past. Man, they don't have enough talent around. You have talent. You need to figure it out, bro. You need to figure it out. And you have the talent and get it in their hands. Be the point guard. Find a way to get it to your playmakers. Just boom. Hike the ball, boom. Throw it to Garrett Wilson, let him make a play. Throw it to Elijah Moore, let him make a play. Zonovan Knight, north-south, baby. Boom, hand it off. Run the gosh darn football down the Lions' throat for all I care. They stink at they stink at everything, quite frankly, on defense, but particularly they stink against a run, and they also stink against a pass. This is his big shot, as JD says, to make some noise. Robert S. here. We need to be behind this kid. Confidence is everything when you're playing sports. 100%. You're having that moxie. That's infectious to your teammates. We talked about the teammates thing for sure. That's a big one for sure. And Joe Campione. Jets have a Super Bowl offense. Wilson had a 69 passer rating last year and a 72 this year. Absolutely horrible. Yeah, no doubt about it. There's talent around him. He's got to figure it out. We'll see if he can do that, if he can work through that. Let's go to Paul on YouTube. Corey on the team next year. Yeah, Corey Davis, of course. If the Jets move on, they could save $9+ million. He is a very likely cap casualty, especially since the Jets are a little tighter against cap this year than past years. So obviously he's had some big moments. The Vikings catch, 4th and 10 was big. The Buffalo contested catch he got hurt on was big. He's had some big catches. He's had some frustrating drops, frustrating penalties, but the most frustrating thing is the injuries. He missed, I think it was 2 games in 4 years with the Titans. He's already missed so many. I've lost count. He was out for the latter half of last season. He's been out for a handful of different injuries this year. I think the Jets may say, hey, we got Elijah Moore. We've got Garrett Wilson, and then Denzel Mims would get that rock, and I'm sure they're going to bring some more people in. But my gut says no, that Corey Davis is not on the team. Another one to watch out for is Carl Lawson. He has no guarantees in that contract next year. The Jets could either give him a harsh restructure or trade him, or there's a lot of things they could do there. I like Carl Lawson, the person, but the football player has been wildly inconsistent this year. He's got 6 sacks. That's nice. He may finish with 8 or 9, which is going to look good at the end of the year, but there hasn't been games where he's dominating and taking over, and that's what the Jets paid him to do. He's another one to watch for sure. Morris, if that punt doesn't get returned, does that get benched? No, he doesn't, Morris. You're talking about the New England game. Game's tied 3-3. Braden Mann horribly punched in the middle of the field. They return to the house. Hell no. He does not get benched. No. He got benched it was the perfect storm, essentially. They lose in brutal fashion in a game where, like, me or you, Morris, at quarterback, would have won that game. So there was that factor. Of course, Saleh didn't admit it to the media, but obviously the post-game commentary rubbed people the wrong way. And then I think the fundamental stuff isn't made up like it's true. They've known that in their head, but again, they're not going to criticize their own guy out in public as their starting quarterback. But you can swallow some of that stuff because if you get to the offseason, you work on all that later. But to answer your question bluntly, no, he doesn't. If Marcus Jones, I believe is his name, if he doesn't return that punt to the house, Zach Wilson has been the starting quarterback the last batch of weeks. 100%. Let's keep going here. Guys, feel free to get your questions or comments in. Again, we'll be on for the next 20 minutes and change. Any of your questions, Lions preview, just free agency questions, whatever's on your mind. This is a show for the people, by the people, baby. So feel free to throw it in there. And again, you guys can contribute in one of 2 ways. First off, for free. Everyone that's watching right now can do this. Like the video on YouTube. Hit subscribe down below so you never miss any content. We're getting close to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you to everybody. And if you're on YouTube and you'd like to reach into your pockets during the holiday season, you can give us a YouTube Super Chat, which highlights your comment that we did earlier with Daniel Faust. We'll give you a shout-out on the show and help support the program. So, guys, feel free to do that as well, and hopefully all you guys are having a happy holiday. Let's see. Rod Smith, if the Jets coaching staff were honorable and honest about what they've said about Zach in the past, then this was the perfect opportunity to bring Zach out of the bondage. 100%. I mean, it just kind of works out that way. Again, you never know when your opportunity is going to come. But when it comes, take full advantage of it. So they need to find a way to do that. Spunky Magoo, I don't think Zach got that dog in him. Well, I guess we'll find out on Sunday. That'll be an opportunity. Bryant Anthony Washington. We have the Buffalo Bills to thank for taking out our quarterback, Mike White, sad days ahead. Well, if you want to blame anyone, blame the offensive line. I mean, they had some questionable moments in that game. I mean, Mike White sure can sometimes, in very small situations, can hold the ball too long. Normally, he gets rid of the ball pretty quick. So I would kind of blame the offensive line there. But specifically, if you want to, yes. The Buffalo Bills. Appreciate that. T Savage, love the energy you bring every show. Appreciate it, T. And you know what? When people meet me on the streets or at Jet games when I go, they say, whoa, I thought the energy thing was fake. I thought you just do that for the show. No, you can ask my fiance. I am this nauseating all the time. There is no question about it. So I'm glad that you guys appreciate the love, though. Let's go to Phenom here. BG, accountability is key. Zach Wilson doesn't have to throw for 300 yards. Manage the game, make the easy throws, use your mobility, utilize the run. Michael Floor, help him play complementary football. 100%. And Phenom, a big key in a game like this, and we just talked about all the pressure that's on Zach Wilson. But we don't want Zach Wilson doing the thing that got him in trouble last year, hero ball. Zach Wilson in this opportunity could go, oh man, I need to prove everyone wrong. You know, all the fans that are doubting me, the people that are making fun of me, like I'm going to throw for 700 yards and I'm going to go crazy. Again, if that happens naturally throughout the game, great. I'd love to tweet about it. But what he needs to do is just win the game, play within himself. He's super talented, but play within the offense, play within him, and just make things happen. Accountability is key. You're 100% right, Phenom. And it doesn't have to necessarily try to match up the Mike White stats he's been putting up, but just go play football and have the fun in football that he said. I think this is a light bulb moment for the young man, and I think we're going to all look at this game and go, wow, Look at the evolution he's been able to have in a couple weeks. Again, there has to be some level of realism. How much of his fundamentals could he fix 3 weeks away? I don't know. But there have been moments where Zach Wilson has been good. It's not like he's been terrible the entire time. Like, there have been moments where he's had these explosive things. You're like, whoa, that's the guy I'm talking about. There's the magic. So I think that's an important piece of the puzzle as well for all of this that I think are important to mention, important to get through. I just see a YouTube super chat come in, so let's throw that immediately up on the big board. Jets Cubs fan 29, a loyal subscriber to the YouTube channel. Zach got this. I really feel it. However, if he gets hit and lays there, I swear I'll throw it with Flacco as the backup. Jets Cubs fan 100%. I think we can all say this emphatically. We have seen enough of Joe gosh darn Flacco. I mean, this guy stinks. He's old, no mobility whatsoever. I always joke, but it's like dead serious. He has the mobility of a parked car. Slow as molasses out there. Like, and with this offensive line not being at full health, obviously, with all the guys that have been injured, like, I mean, you got to do something. You got to at least Zach Wilson. So we go to Joe Flacco in the Buffalo Bills game. He has that strip sack. At least Zach Wilson wouldn't have had that happen. Maybe he throws a pick. I don't know. But at least he would have been able to evade the pressure and move the heck out of there real quick. Like, whoa, hit the eject button. Whoop. Like, he's got mobility so he can roll out, try to make a play, throw the ball away. Like, he's got great athleticism from that standpoint. So that's the part I'm like, yes, major promotion, major upgrade. There. You love to see that. So that's fantastic. So, yeah, I am all about it. Zach Wilson, even as the QB2, I was like, oh, thank God. I don't want to see Joe Flacco. So 100% you're right. We saw it. I think it was the first Bills game, maybe, that Zach Wilson for a second when he got hit, I think on this, like, weird little, like, bubble screen to Garrett Wilson, like, laid on the ground for a second. We're like, oh, God, no. Oh, no. So, yes, health. This has been one of the wildest injury years of all time. Quinnen Williams, Breece Hall, AVT, Corey Davis, Zach Wilson, Mike White. Like, it's just been man, when is enough? Enough in terms of the injuries. Like, there's no way other NFL teams are going through this level of injuries. I mean, come on, man. Like, no way in hell. There is no way any other team is going through the same crap. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. But Jets Cubs fan 29, I just got to say thank you so much for always supporting the show, baby. We appreciate it. Let me try to find my place back up here. I try to get to all your comments, guys, but if you do the YouTube Super Chat, it guarantees I get to you. But I try to get to as many of you as possible. Let's keep going. Captain to know. Hopefully the Patriots game is out of his system. We can only hope so. Matthew's been 2-quarter leash. Hell no. Oh no, there's no 2-quarter leash. It's Zach Wilson. I am not going to Joe Flacco. Screw that. And here it is. Why? Another YouTube super chat coming in. Feed the Fat Rabbit. I love that YouTube name. That's fantastic. Flacco is a giant tortoise. I can't watch it again. Boy Green, Fatherhood update. Blessings, brother. LFG. Let's friggin' go, Jets. Yeah, he is a giant tortoise. Fatherhood update, sure. The baby is 10 months old. Zariah Luna Serenity Yesden. So I'm a first-time father. My daughter, she is doing great. She's 10 months old. She's going to get her first Christmas coming up in 9 days. I can't believe we're 9 days away from Christmas, by the way. So I'm super excited for that. It's amazing. I'm going to be honest. I've always wanted to be a father. I always wanted a child, and preferably two. I want a boy and a girl, which is always what I wanted. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. A lot of pressure from the fiance. We'll see if that happens. But I have to tell you that, you don't know till you know. Like, all those people say, like, you'll never know, like, how you immediately just have feelings and emotions for, like, a human life that you never knew before. Because, like, the baby I didn't know. Then all of a sudden the baby's out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would do anything for this human life that just came into my world. Like, it's such an indescribable feeling and emotions and everything. But it's been amazing. Like, when I come home now, so here's kind of my schedule, because you guys didn't ask. I do a radio show Monday through Friday, 10 to 12. It's in Syracuse. I live in Oswego. So that's about a 45 to an hour drive to Syracuse every day. So I leave like 8 or 9 in the morning. The baby's normally sleeping. I do my radio show 2 hours, drive an hour back, and then I like come in around 1:30, 2 o'clock, depending on some jet stuff too. Sometimes it may be later than that. But what happens is as soon as I open the door and the baby's awake, I do this weird thing where I like once we make eye contact, I go, ho, 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 ho. And like I just like come like I'm slowly creeping up like ooh, 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 ooh. And then all of a sudden the baby sees me and starts laughing and losing her crap. Like, man, that has my soul. Absolutely has my soul. She has me already wrapped around her finger. So this is oh God, it's amazing. It's amazing. Tears in my eyes, man. I never knew being a father would mean this much to me and be this magical. It's wow. It's changed my life. It's absolutely changed my life. So feed the fat rabbit. Thank you for feeding the fat boy green here with your hard-earned dollars. I really appreciate when people support the show. I appreciate when you guys just watch in general, to be honest with you. That means the world. But when you guys go out of your way to do this, this is really special. So many blessings to you guys, and thank you so much. We'll be on for another 10 minutes or so. So if you guys got something cooking, let me know. Throw it in the comments. I'm trying to catch up and look around and trying to get everything I can. Again, I can always get to the super chats, but I try to get to them all. So I'll keep going here. We also should have one more video before Sunday. Again, we always do a live post-game show 2 hours about after the game. So we'll have that on Sunday, 2 hours after the Lions game, so around 6:30-ish. So guys, keep an eye out for that. Again, hit the bell notification on YouTube so you never miss it. And also, additionally, on Thursday, because this will be the only primetime game this year, we'll try to see what the schedule looks like for that. We may have to go a little sooner than that on the post-game show, but we'll see what happens. It may still be a late Thursday night for that, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Back to the Feed the Fat Rabbit. Phenomenal answer. That's what it's all about right there, boys. Take notes. Be the best dad you could possibly be. 100%. It's just amazing. And it's a complicated life of doing sports talk radio, doing the Jets digital thing, doing these YouTube shows. So like it's an amoeba-like schedule. It's ever moving. Like some people do a job 9 to 5. I've never done a 9 to 5 job in my life. I've always had a bunch of jobs like doing football play-by-play or doing some work with a baseball team. So like my schedule's always all over the place, but my fiance is amazing. She holds down the fort. And for me personally, it's great to be around the home so much. So it means a lot. So Feed the Fat Rabbit, thank you. Rico the Pup, you guys got great names normally built around your animals. Congrats, Boy Green. Props to you, another member of the Jets flight crew. Yes, sir. I'm sure when she's older, she'll never forget the Jets game she'll watch with you. I think of that every time I watch the Yanks. Yeah, she went to her first Jets game ever, which was week 1, Baltimore Ravens. Again, I wish it was a better result for her, but I will say in general that she was born on January 25th. This season, because so obviously the Jets season was over by the time she was born. That was the playoffs. But her life is just this great Jets season. So I feel like that's a great luck charm for the Jets, that all she's seen is good Jets football. So people are probably calling her a bandwagon fan now because, there's been a lot of bad, obviously, over the last year. So it's magical. And I hope she's a Jets fan. Again, she should really have no choice, but I hope she's a Jets fan and watches stuff with me and goes to the games. It's cool because every time, like on a touchdown, I'm like a giddy schoolgirl living going, touchdown, oh booyah! And I start like pounding the table going crazy. She just smiles, looks up at me, and like starts clapping her hands going, ha ha ha. So when she starts seeing me, and luckily I've had plenty of opportunities to do that with how well the Jets have played this season. But that gets my heart all the time. Let's see. Let's go to Ken Rosa, Dolphins fan here, but just came across your channel on my YouTube feed. Spreading the love, keep growing the channel. God bless. Hashtag Fins Up. Well, Ken, I'm going to be honest. I've said this before. One of my favorite things, and first off, thank you so much. One of my favorite things about playing a week-to-week opponent is expanding my network. One of my favorite segments I do is bringing on an insider from whoever the team the Jets are playing and learning more about their team, hearing the storylines, hearing their side of things. And obviously on some opponents like the Dolphins, Patriots, and Bills, I have a good collection of people because they play them twice every year. But there are teams like the Lions. Jets don't play the Lions very often. The last one was, I think, the Sam Darnold season opener, I believe, Monday Night Football, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, which was 4 years ago, which makes sense. So some opponents play like once every 4 years, but I love expanding my network and meeting new people and meeting new fan bases that kind of come across me by virtue of that. So Ken, good luck against the Bills in that snowfall game on Saturday night. That'll be weird. I will say the Dolphins are going to get a lot of swag points because they've been making jokes about the snow thing all week. Mike McDaniel with the shirt. Wish it was colder. Tua says it snows in Alabama. I had my intern tell me on the radio show earlier today that it hasn't snowed in Alabama in like 5 years or something. So, or whatever the number is when Tua wasn't there or something. But regardless of all that, they're going to get a lot of swag points, obviously, if they're able to beat the Buffalo Bills and sweep their ass. Of course, Jet fans, I'm sure, are rooting for that not to happen because the Jets don't really have a chance at the division anymore. So they're probably rooting against you candidly. But nonetheless, I will tell you that they're rooting against you from that standpoint. But I am glad to see you guys relevant again. That's really cool to see. So I will be honest. I've been told I will take this L right now. I've been so wrong on Tua, and I know the last couple of games haven't been great. But overall, I thought Tua was going to suck this year. He's had like a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. He's been terrific. Tyreek Hill's been going bonkers. Like I'm taking the L on Tua, and I'm looking forward to that Week 18 game. I'm going to be honest, I'm not. I lied right there. I'm not. I am, but I'm not, because there is a higher than 0 chance something's going to mean something in that game. I hope it's not winning you're in. I do, but don't, because do or die, a playoff game, with everything on the line, that's kind of what you want to play for. But at the same time, it's nerve-wracking. That's a lot of pressure. So I go back and forth, but I think it is going to mean something in Week 18. I appreciate the comment, Ken. That's awesome, man. And good luck to your Dolphins on Saturday football. Yeah, we got a triple header of NFL football, baby. I love it. Can't have enough football. So that's going to be good. Also, I do want to bring this back up. I mentioned it earlier, so I want to circle back around to it. The Jets only have one primetime game on the schedule from May. That's a Thursday night football game, not this game, the next game. That's Week 16. However, I believe one of two are going to be flexed. They play Seattle in Week 17. They play Miami in Week 18. The Week 18 game is TBD, so that can either be Saturday football. It would have its own standalone spot, but probably either Saturday night football or Sunday night football. I prefer Sunday night football. We haven't been on that in 12 years. So I would love Sunday night football. So I think there's a 90% chance the Dolphins game, Week 18, is flexed into primetime. And I'm kind of confident on the Seattle one. Maybe not so much. I just lost to San Fran, but the storylines of Geno and everybody, that one's got a chance as well. But I think the Dolphins game, 100%, is going to be a flex primetime game. So guys, keep an eye out for that. That one's going to be juicy, but one game at a time. I will say this Lions team, overrated. I mean, they started 1-6. They've won 5 of 6. And now Lions fans are all walking over here with a little pep in their step. And I'm and everyone's on the Lions. It's a sexy pick on all the shows. And I'm okay, cool. But it's the Lions are the Super Bowl favorites or something. They're 6-7. I mean, I don't know. I feel there's a little too much weird hype right now for the Detroit Lions. Again, I'm not saying they suck, but I mean, the defense certainly sucks. I mean, that is certainly fair to say. All right, let me try to see if I could get any final comments in here. Rika the Pop, baby girl green. I'm going to have to get that on a shirt for her and see how she feels about that, but I'm all in for that. Brain NCL, I'll try to go rapid fire with a bunch of these, try to get to as many of these as possible. Do you think we see a lot of JFM inside this week? If not, is it rankings and Shep Solly? Yes, I think we see extra JFM on the inside. Also, Michael Clemens can play on the inside as well. He's another guy. So I think we're going to see a little bit of all that as well. Yep, Shepard will get his reps. Solomon Thomas will get his reps, but Michael Clemens on the inside as well. Don't forget that. Let's go to David Sullivan. Mike is not over. Zach is going to Zach it up. Mike may not be back for Thursday, but he'll be back the following week. Disagree, David, but I like different takes here on the show. I do think it is over, at least for Mike White this season, because he's not playing the next 2 weeks, and I anticipate the Jets winning both of those games. I anticipate that happening. Let me try to just kind of randomly pick in comments here. A lot of Zach Wilson hate. I see. Cafe. Well, we see James Robinson this week, potentially. So we're going to get Zonovan for sure. Ty Johnson for sure. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. Michael Carter was super ineffective. I would probably, he doesn't look healthy. I don't know what's going on. So it's an outside shot, probably leaning inactive, but there's a chance. Let's Let's go to fans of the Green Bay Packers. Will the Jets get a new head coach? No, I love Saleh. I thought he's done a remarkable job. Will they pick up any players as free agents? They will. Wow, this is kind of a weird question, but no new head coach. Saleh and Joe Douglas are the best head coach GM combination I've felt since Tannenbaum Rex. So I feel really great about that combo. I just feel like we're in great hands. And then in terms of free agents, offensive line is going to be big. Safeties for sure. You got to figure out safety. That one as well. Okay. And yeah, so okay, that'll be a weirdly our last one, I believe. Oh wait, let's go one more. I just saw this come in. Hennessy Heisman, my boy. I love that profile picture. Again, that jersey's so clean, and the hat's nice too. Mike White just lost opportunity to get paid. Maybe we get him for cheap next season. Yeah, here's the big thing on the Mike White thing, because again, everyone is assuming Mike White is going to be back next year, and again, contract. There's a chance that he's not. I will just say from that standpoint, again, maybe you're right. But I think Mike White loves being here. Maybe you could get him on a deal, but I don't know how it's less than $10 million per year. So it's going to be a 2 or 3 year deal for like 20, 30 million. But maybe he comes cheaper than that. I don't anticipate that happening. Sluggo real quick. Lions running backs are my concern. Our secondary stout. Our secondary stout. And they got good receivers. Again, Amon-Ra St. Brown's great. DJ Chark is deep threat. Jameson Williams obviously is a speedster. The running backs are interesting. Jamal Williams is a really good player. Obviously, he's had a crazy amount of touchdowns this year. DeAndre Swift has been super inconsistent, but they could be something on the linebackers to watch for sure. Any news on Quentin Williams? Again, he's officially questionable. He has not practiced all week. I don't think he's playing. That's my gut. I do not think he's playing, but we will see. Saleh seemed weirdly confident, but I don't know. To me, my gut says he's not going to play. That hurts. He's been playing like a freak. He has 11 sacks. He had 2 sacks in the first quarter and a half against Buffalo. I only wish we could see how many more he would have potentially gotten there. So that one is crazy as well. I see Hennessy come back with this, so I want to end on this. Who's paying Mike White to start for their team? The sample size isn't big enough. Hennessy, I'll say this. I think there are probably – I'm just making up the number. I don't have the standings in front of me. There's probably 12-ish quarterbacks that are locked into their jobs, like Lamar Jackson's, Joe Burrow's, all those kind of guys that are locked in starters. And the rest of them are coin flips. Like maybe there's a competition or something. There is going to be someone that sees Mike White and goes, the quarterback market is so scarce that they say, let's give it a whirl. There's Matt Flynn's that get paid of the world. There's Mitchell Trubisky's. He got paid by the Pittsburgh. So I think there's going to be somebody that is willing to pay him. Now, again, the sample size is incredibly small, but we've seen other guys with similar small sample sizes get paid. Matt Flynn had the one big game at the end of the year against the Green Bay Packers, that Lions-Packers game, or it was against the Lions. He was on the Packers. And then he got paid 3 years for $22.5 million. So it happens, and the quarterback market is crazy. So, again, I don't know. I've got questions from that perspective. So I think someone will, but this will be a fun conversation for the offseason. I will just say overall, you guys are freaking crazy. You guys are awesome. Keep a lookout, whether it'll be tonight or tomorrow, okay? We're going to have a Lions insider on the show to preview that Jets-Lions matchup. We had a few guys scheduled this week, but some conflicting schedules and things kept kicking the can down the road, so we're running out of time. We'll either have it late tonight or we'll have it over the weekend for a Lions insider. I really want to dive into this matchup because I think there's a lot of juicy storylines. If you guys don't want to miss that, whether you see it live or if you see it after the fact, like the video, hit subscribe, and also hit that bell notification. You will never miss a video if you hit it right there. So, guys, make sure you do that, and you won't miss our Lions preview. And we'll be back on Sunday, of course, 2 hours after the final whistle for the post-game show right here on the YouTube channel. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. A lot of fun, and we've got a lot more to go. Root for Zach Wilson. Go Zach Wilson, and hopefully he balls out because it would be an amazing story. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time.